Bon dia a tothom, benvinguts en aquest dia de pluja. Una de les coses que té de bo la pluja és que com que fa tant mal temps no sortirem corrents ningú i ens quedarem tot el matí aquí junts. Permeteu-me que faci aquestes primeres paraules en català perquè totes les conferències seran fetes en anglès, simplement pel fet que pels nostres convidats puguin acompanyar tot aquest seminari. Aleshores, a partir d'ara i en endavant, parlarem en anglès i simplement farem aquesta. Good morning, everyone. My name is Luis Agustí, and I will be today's master's ceremony. I mean the presenter. Today's seminary will be given in English. Welcome to the seminar on new research assessment models organized by the Faculty of Library and Information Science of the University of Barcelona, UB, and the Faculty of Information and Communication Sciences of the Open University of Catalonia, UOC, with the collaboration of the Consortium of University Services of Catalonia, CSUC, more specifically its open access area, Elsevier and Ingenio. Ingenio is the Institute of Management of Innovation and Knowledge, a joint research institute of the Spanish National Research Council, CSIC, and the Polytechnic University of Valencia, UPV. Thank you for coming. You all have the program with the details of this seminary, schedule, speakers, as well as the hashtag research assessment in the brochure. You have all them. First of all, let me introduce Dr. Domènec Espriu, Vice President for Research at the University of Barcelona, and Dr. Pastora Martínez, Vice President for Globalization and Cooperation at the Open University of Catalonia. Whenever you want.
Okay, so good morning, and thanks for being here today in an event that will allow us to reflect all together on the models of research evaluation that we are currently using, and what is even more important, to discuss and outline those new, more comprehensive models that which we want to evolve. In the case of the Open University of Catalonia, research is a young field with no more than 10 years, but not for that less important or lacking of high quality. We have indeed 3 research centers with over 350 researchers from very different backgrounds, and from here precisely one of the great challenges of the evaluation of research arises: how to evaluate research uniformly when research itself covers very different disciplines. At the Open University of Catalonia, we are driving an institutional transformation right now, with the aim at becoming a global university with more and more social impact. In other words, we are moving towards a university that generates open knowledge with active participation of different stakeholders, where research is a key pillar. For that, what we are using are the roadmaps settled by the 2030 agenda of the United Nations, but also the responsible research and innovation framework, the European Commission, and the Open Science Movement as driving forces and guidance. And here, another question arises: how to include impact in a research assessment that currently is only focused on outputs. In that sense, it is important to highlight that the evolution of evaluation systems toward fairer models, where not only quantitative aspects of research are evaluated, but other values and practices of qualitative importance are also considered. It is not possible without a consensus, teamwork, and collaboration between all the stakeholders involved. I mean, researchers, institutions, funders, and also regulation administrators. So more than ever, an open dialogue is needed. So thanks to the organizers of this meeting, to the University of Barcelona, the Open University of Catalonia, the Ingenio Research Center, for giving us the space today to discuss and share these different experiences in the field of evaluation research. Workshops like this one represent an ideal context to contribute to the change. So thanks also to the University of Barcelona and the faculty for hosting this event, to the CSUC for their support, to the speakers from other countries that have come here and are today with us. And thank you all for being here today. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Dr. Martinez, for these words that you have just addressed to us. On behalf of the rector of the University of Barcelona, it is my pleasure to welcome you, especially to those of you that come from far away from other countries, to sunny Barcelona. And actually, I think it's very appropriate that this workshop on new methods or alternative methods on evaluation of research takes place in this university. For those of you that are young and probably do not remember what happened 30 or 35 years ago, perhaps the most important development on assessment of the quality of Spanish universities and Spanish teaching and research personnel in our universities at the level of the whole of Spain was born in this university. Every professor that has a permanent position has to submit every six years his CV to a committee, to a national committee in Spain, and get an assessment on the quality of the research that she or he are doing. This did not exist before. This was very difficult to introduce. This has supposed a tremendous change in the way that the responsibility from our teaching personnel and research personnel towards research has to be implemented and performed. And this was created almost single-handed by one of our professors. In fact, he was the leader of my research group, Professor Pere Pascual, who unfortunately left us several years ago. This was a tremendous effort because the university that came after the change after democracy came and the remains of the Franco dictatorship partly disappeared, was a very old-fashioned university. But there was a lot of enthusiasm among young people. And it was the decision of the government at that point, in fact it was the first socialist government, to do something with the research at the university. And at that point it became clear that people at the university had at least two missions. One was, of course, doing good teaching, but the other one was research. And that was not clear, and in fact, in many sectors, these ideas of having all these sacred cows being evaluated by a committee, sometimes of younger people, it really was very hard to swallow. And I remember that because I was doing my PhD at the time, and I remember how Professor Pascual was actually complaining about the many difficulties that he had. In fact, he had even personal threats, and he had a security guard placed in front of his door at some office in Madrid. So it was not easy at all. But that thing remained. And I think that thing was the starting point of this idea that I'm sure that now all agree, and obviously everybody in this room agrees, that we need in our universities good research, and we need in our universities a good evaluation of the research systems. I regret to say that actually since that system was introduced in the 80s, actually not much has changed and not much has been done, and not only at the level of the central government, but also at the level of the Catalan government. We are still waiting for some sort of research assessment of the university departments. We are still waiting for some sort of global research assessment of the university research institutes. So we have actually no guidelines, and of course, we think that it would be very good, very healthy for the system to have a good, let's say, classification or ranking of our university departments. I think that would be an excellent idea, as it happened, for instance, in the British system. You know, 30 years has been a lot of time to do that, but we're still really waiting. Things seem to happen somehow very slowly in Spain, sometimes. And so the universities, we had to do something, and our university actually also pioneered an internal review system, and that came into place in 2012, and now is undergoing a large revision, and I think I will have the occasion of talking about that in the round table that there will be this afternoon. So, well, I'm going to close my speech. These words that I just pronounced, they are meant to imply the commitment of our university in research, in the assessment of research, and on this occasion on the assessment of research, which is what we are doing here. Welcome you, and I wish you have a nice stay and a very productive discussion. Thank you very much.